Hello, global friends, family, and starseeds. Welcome to my channel, Made for More. I am Heather Bryant. I am an oracle, an open channel, and a medium. All things that I did not believe in prior to about 3 years ago when I started receiving psychic downloads for strangers in public and channeling beings and the Akashic Records, which happened shortly after being visited by two angels who spoke to me for over 3.5 hours. And they shared with me that part of my purpose in this life is helping you align to yours. And I am here to share channeled messages from cosmic beings and angels and guides that are here to help us on our sometimes confusing and frustrating journey as a human. And today I'm going to be talking about, I have some notes here, so I'm going to be looking down, parallel realities and hopping timelines, which seems to be, maybe it's just coming into my awareness, but it seems to be kind of a popular topic right now. And I'm just going to touch briefly on what that is, and then share with you examples on how soul contracts are related to hopping timelines and parallel realities. And an example, one of the examples from a client that I've worked with on how this has happened for her. So at parallel realities or hopping timelines, multiple timelines is, you can do more research on this, of course, but it's in a nutshell, there are always multiple options at any given time for each of us. So for instance, I can pick up this pen right now. I can put it down on the table. I can drop it on the floor. Those are all multiple timelines. Those are all multiple options of things that choices that I can have or make that will take me into a different timeline. If you stop at a stop sign versus go all the way through versus turn a corner left or right, those are multiple options you have that will create different timelines and different opportunities for you. And we have what's called our highest timeline available to us in our lifetime. So before we incarnate, I've learned all of this over the last few years of channeling. I didn't know any of this stuff before. My guides over the last few years, I channel cosmic beings, and they've been taking me through school and teaching me all these things so I can teach others. And before we incarnate, we co-create our life blueprint. And our life blueprint is supported through soul contracts. I like to call them soul agreements. It sounds a little less harsh, but they're supported with soul contracts that help us ensure that we meet certain people, that we learn certain lessons, we have certain experiences, all to serve us in what we came here to learn on this planet at this time, which is connected to all of our other lifetimes before this. And it's also to serve us in helping us to serve the collective. So we have what's called a highest timeline for our life when we come here. And that highest timeline is aligned to love, which is really all that exists beyond this. And if you like, you can do some research on near-death experiences, and you'll see that there's a common denominator of when people die and come back on the other side, they're met with all love. And that was my experience, that the angels about 3.5 years ago in March of 2020, I was visited by two angels, and I was overwhelmed with the most intense feeling of love. I always get verklempt talking about it because I just remember it was this like warm, all-encompassing feeling of blissful love, unconditional love. Nothing else existed. It was like the soul memory that I had. So when we come to this lifetime, we set up certain experiences and situations for ourselves to help us learn lessons and do what we came here to do. But there's always a high timeline, many timelines that we can choose from, and the highest timeline. And so what my guides shared with me the other day is that, this was so mind-blowing to me, we can, by understanding what our soul contracts are, which is what I channel soul contracts, the Akashic Records, which is a record of all potential, past, present realities, and potential future realities based on choice. My guides will show me when I have a client. I work with clients all over the globe, and help channel their soul contracts and the reasons for their experiences and trauma. And I help alchemize their trauma through understanding that when I channel someone's soul contracts, it gives them the opportunity to hop into another timeline. And I didn't realize that was happening until recently. My guide shared that with me. So I want to share an example with you. of one of my clients. She's so amazing. She's so beautiful. I'm going to call her Jane for privacy. But Jane was referred to me. All of my clients have been referrals. I'm just so blessed to be able to share this gift with others, through other people sharing their experiences of experiencing a channeled session, and tapping into their soul contracts. And she was referred to me and wanted help. Started out with her relationship, and then over many sessions we touched on other things, because everything's all connected. Work, career, relationships, love. Everything's all connected here. It's all very beautifully intertwined tapestry of life blueprint we created for ourselves. But she was struggling with her partner. Her partner, in 2.5 years, she loves him very, very much. We'll call him John and Jane. John loves, she knows he loves her very much. She loves him very much. She thinks he's the most amazing man, just a wonderful, wonderful man. And I can channel people's energy. So of course I tap in to find out, what's going on with the relationship and everything, and share all of this with my clients. And he's a very, very loving, supportive partner. But she was struggling because in 2.5 years of being together, he had not yet said he loved her. And it was really, really, she was really struggling with that. She was considering leaving him because of how deeply it was wounding her. So over the course of several sessions, because it takes time to channel all this information, it's all multi-layered and it's multi-dimensional and it's connected to past lives and all these other things that I channel. We found that she, in this lifetime, one of the lessons she's here to learn is self-love and self-worth. So I won't share, but there were other past lives that I was shown that contributed to her choosing the conditions in this lifetime. So we co-create conditions specifically in childhood and throughout life that will help create the conditions required to learn the lessons we're here to learn. We don't always learn them. If we don't learn the lessons in the way that we planned for ourselves before reincarnated, then we have to repeat it in the next lifetime, which can be painful. So if you're finding yourself, side note, if you're finding yourself repeating patterns over and over and over with certain careers or relationships or decisions or friendships or love, it's because you're being asked to look at it in a different way and learn something, or something we haven't learned yet. So she co-created conditions in this lifetime for her childhood to really rely on other people telling her she's worthy, or telling her she's beautiful. She had been, her mother was a primary soul contract co-owner with her, and her mother spent a lot of her childhood, my client's childhood, telling her how beautiful she was, and she got used to hearing verbal affirmations, and that became how she sought confirmation of her worth. So when she came to me and asked for me to help her with her, and find out what's going on with her relationship and what should she do, it's never a quick answer. There's always multiple layers, which is why it takes several sessions sometimes to get all of this out, to channel all this. What was shown was that she co-created those conditions in her childhood, which created the need for verbal affirmation. But at the same time, her partner, who has a contract with her, many contracts in this lifetime, but one of the contracts he co-created for his childhood was he co-created conditions in his childhood where words didn't mean anything, where he was promised things or told things that weren't followed through on for him, and he learned to not trust words. So her wound of needing to hear things was the opposite of his wound of not wanting to say things, because of his belief that words don't matter and that's actions that matter, which he'd been showing, but she needed to hear it in the words. So when I shared all of this and more over the course of several sessions, it started to paint the picture of what her soul contracts were in this lifetime, why they were created, what she's here to learn from that. And just over a handful of sessions, she was able to, knowing that information, hop into a higher timeline for her and her partner. And she actually texted me, right here, I pulled it up. She actually texted me a few months later and said, hi, Heather, my whole entire life has changed for the better since talking with you. It always makes me tear up because it means so much to me when the Skip to Hook can help people. I can't thank you enough for all of your insight. So what happened was, my guides told me, she hopped into a higher timeline for her and her partner, and ultimately life, when she understood that the reasons why these things were happening between her and her partner, her need to hear from him, I love you, and him not feeling safe to say it based on their childhood conditions, right? Based on soul agreements and soul contracts they created. They're here to help each other heal these wounds, the opposite wound in each other. And that just knowing that helped her. She verbally told me over our last session that she looks at him differently. She thinks of him differently. The relationships changed for the better because she now can see the deeper meaning behind what's going on, and she has released her need for that verbal affirmation in the way that she was needing it before. And what my guides showed me was that by her releasing the need for that, he will start to lean into that and start feeling trust, and will naturally and organically start to feel safe expressing. So it's healing each other through just understanding this information and her applying it in her life. And she's hopped to another timeline. So you can do this too. When you understand your soul agreements, or if you maybe you don't have a channel, of course, I'm happy to support and help you with this and help as many people as I can with this gift. But if you haven't sought after and found someone who's an open channel who can channel past lives and soul contracts and agreements and the Akashic records, what you can do is, with intention, during meditation or being out in nature or just sitting and getting quiet and putting your hands on your heart, you can say, what is this telling me? What am I here supposed to learn from this? What is this helping me to see? What do I need to learn from this situation? Whatever the situation might be, whether you're experiencing hardship with your career, self-employment, relationship, love, etc. What is this trying to teach me? What is this repeated pattern trying to teach me? And let your higher self in the universe guide you to the answers of what the deeper meanings are behind this. And once you can understand what the deeper meanings are behind this, you have a choice. And that choice can take you to your highest path. Which is so cool. It's so cool. So it's another way of getting into a higher path for yourself and manifesting. This is about manifesting more for your life. So my client, Jane and John, she has now manifested a deeper level of commitment and love with her partner, which is manifesting more joy and happiness and contentment and fulfillment in her life overall. So you see how it all fits together. So awesome download I got. If you have any questions about this, any of the topics that we covered, I would love to hear your comments below. And please do like and subscribe and share this message with somebody that this might help. If you have a friend or family member, coworker, partner that you think that if watching this video, someone popped into your mind, that's the universe, your higher self telling you this person can benefit from this information. And my goal is to spread these channeled messages across the globe far and wide to help everybody step into their higher timeline, the highest timeline, manifest more love, wealth, abundance, more aligned relationships, and just really live a more abundant and fulfilling life so that we can all step into the highest timeline together. Thank you so much for watching, and please drop your comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.